And here we can see it's a little bit late at night, and I just thought I'd try this out. So when you see the third person thing here in the Unreal Engine from the last video, uh, what I did was I retarget, what they call it retargeting, onto the main thing there. Now, one of the things, that floating gun there, you could take that out, okay, and then it looks like just him. You could put the gun in his hand, let's say, and then it would figure it out how to do that proper. Or it could be just like a spectral gun that floats with him. Ooh. But anyway, then what you can do in your scenes is drag animations that you see listed below, and there are lots of them. I've got more of them that, other things. What I did as a test at first is the first two guys on the left. They're kind of like drunken guys, thinking like this could be the inside of a bar, right? So I took the same one and I just flipped them around. It doesn't look too bad. However, what you can do with see how they have certain speeds they do things? One guy, you might make them just go a little bit faster, and then it doesn't look like they're doing the exact same thing, right? Now, the other difference is that these two other guys are two different ones, and they're just sitting there having a conversation, right? And the one guy's kind of thinking while the other guy's talking, and then the other guy kind of, you see? And the same process that I used to put him here, I could put retarget his mesh onto there and just keep that animation. And then you would have the equivalent of your NPC characters, but in a setting, right? So you could make little stories and movies and little things like this, which really gives a lot of power here for, free, because this is a AAA model. This was in a AAA video game called Paragon, okay? This was the Reaver. And they gave out every one of them for free, and that's free forever. So, and like I said, I actually skipped several steps in bringing this in here just to speed it up, and it worked out rather well. Like, the one step I did skip would have solved that gun issue, right? And another one is scaling, right? There's like a little bubble that kind of goes around the mannequin. You see how this guy's taller? All the Paragon models need to be scaled down a little, okay? And the reason is when you put them into other stuff, and you're running along, it may take up too much of the upper part of the screen. You won't be able to see over his head like a real third person, like you see. It's not so bad in this one, right? Because I can see over his hat. But it depends on where it drops you in, right? Like you'll notice on that one I did with Sevrog, which is another of the Paragon models, he's too big. But it was such a busy model, I was surprised it even worked half right. I tried a few other ones and they came out really strange. So you have to go in and you have to play with the bones a little to help the retargeting work out. It's a nice looking gun, isn't it? Trippy. Looks like it's floating. No, 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 no. Anyway, I'll add this. I'll splice this one onto the other one, and the other guy was going, "Damn, you put so many videos up," and hey, I just enjoy the visual neatness of all this stuff, and that uh, they're giving this out to us for free, and I want to show you guys. This isn't hard. This is, there's a guy with a like some of the people that are doing these things, they aren't very big channels either. One guy, I think he had 1,200 subscribers, and he was teaching literally 300 people how to do this. It was like, you know. So now I'm one of 300 people in the world that knows how to do something the rest of you don't. You know, like that's what I'm saying, guys. Like sooner or later you learn something unique, and then it's really cool. And what you can do with it, I mean, I was doing things that just messing with stuff. I spent the first 3 quarters of today just screwing around trying to fix other people's mistakes from older stuff so it would work in the newer engine, right? Uh, I got a solution for the one guy. I'll post it up at their site there. It was so I could bring this medieval thing in, and the problem was it's like architecture. You don't want to have collision detection in architecture setups because then you can go inside the house and see the fireplace, and if you do some panning, you can make little shots, and it looks pretty that way. But if you're doing it in a game, it's a whole different ball game. This is where I was looking at uh, the first person story adventure thing, right? Well, that can be used in not just that, because you can take the doors out of that and put that on that little sci-fi thing. You can you can have different types of doors, right? You could make it slide. Okay, there was just the ideas popping into my brain right now. That's why I've been going so much. I couldn't sleep. Right, I went and laid down and I couldn't get. I got some more ideas. I thought, hey, why don't I just try that? You know, I've got no formal schooling in any of this, right? So this is all just me learning everything. It was like when I saw that one guy that he made his own little video game. He's actually on the Epic Store. I thought, that's pretty good. That's impressive, right? Get him some more free stuff and see what he can do with with this and that. Now, see the color, how to make this a little more unique, right? Okay, is I could change the textures on here. I could add things on him, take things off, and do things like that. And then suddenly it becomes a little more unique. And this is a suggestion that I get. Once you get comfortable doing little bits like this is when you start messing with the meshes and different things like that and whatnot, right? It's all you gotta get when it's like when I was a kid. This one guy used to teach me some guitar. He didn't just come out and say, "Here's Stairway to Heaven, play it." You know, no, he'd go, "This is your scales. You learn this, so you know where all the notes are, and then you get your fingers used to playing around a little, and then you do more complicated stuff, right? And slowly but surely, you learn tunes and you learn the more complicated stuff, right? And you got to keep practicing. This is the thing. What I'm doing here, these are my practices, right? This is a successful. I got it in here and it's working, and I did this the first time, right? And what I'm gonna start doing is these little clips, right? You can actually download your videos back from YouTube. If you go back in my 3D stuff and everything, there's little bits and pieces of different things, and that was even from different graphic software. I started out doing this little quest with something that was over 10 years old, right? Bryce 7.1. But it's got some unique features, okay? It's extremely easy to use as far as throwing a free model in, and it comes packaged with textures. You just click on the guy. It's good for architecture is really what it was meant for. And then you could move objects very easily. You just drag it over here, and the way you drag it is the way it will animate, right? And you can do all kind, but it's got limitations because of its age. It's got a 3 GB limit with a little hack, and you can't. Just have to move to Blender, and that was I got 7.1 when he gave it out for free, and then I made that little Willie's World where I took a Dungeons and Dragons hex map from dungeon.sh, which is a big square, and wrapped it around a sphere and then rotated the sphere a little. There's a trick to that. It doesn't make a perfect sphere, okay? Because on the back side of that, there'll be a little black dot. Now you could smear that over and you could probably put some stuff there and fix it all up, blah, blah, blah. Or, if you guys ever watch sci-fi, do you see the planet always rotate all the way around? No, you don't. And there's the trick. Everything is an illusion, right? So when you see this thing rotate, you're going, well, isn't that cool? Right? How do you do that? Well, I spent an hour and a half, 2 hours messing with stuff until I got it to work. Even the developer said, well, that's actually a pretty nifty little idea. I said, well, carry on. Add it to the next version. But see, this is how things work, eh? You just keep messing around with stuff. Eventually, I'm going to need to add audio to some of this. Like this is where I was in that little sci-fi thing, and there's the first-person template has a gun with you, and it used to shoot little yellow balls out the end. But I guess somewhere in the translation between there and adding that, it lost the yellow ball thing, but you could still hear the shooting sound, which is fine. I mean, I'll figure out what went wrong there, but I don't know. See, I don't like the jumping. See, right now I'm using the third-person template for this guy, whereas with what do you call it? The Sevrog, I kept his animations in there a little bit, which is why he kind of has that staff that's kind of floating there. And there might be another reason why this didn't quite get the gun where it was. The gun was on the ground below him, so it actually the retargeting lifted it up a little bit. All it needs to do is lift it another, what's it look like there? 2 inches to the hand there. Yeah, something like that. And lose that. I don't know if what's coming off the gun is part of it, or it's just it looked like it was before, so he's got some kind of it's like maybe something he stabbed you with or something from the gun. That's kind of a really deadly looking end of where the grip is there. It was like 2 prongs. Like that would be just crazy, eh? Anyway, that's just some more stuff. I didn't want to add too much in there because it gets heavy on the machine. But anyway, yeah, I'm glad a lot of you are getting some useful bits out of this, because like I didn't realize that everything that you get free for the month, if you get it, you get to keep it for you free. Okay? So every 2 weeks, you better jump in here and see what's new, you know what I mean? Like this, and for all you guys that are sitting there hating on Epic for making games, exclusive to their store, yeah, so look at the stuff I'm doing. What are you doing? That's what I mean, right? And these guys, they're just salty. They don't know they don't have the patience to do this. Maybe, I don't know. Nah, it didn't take me that long to learn, really. But I was really ill, and I did I've been just doing stuff incrementally, and I got an older PC. There are limitations here, okay? You'll see in a few of the videos where I'm running out of memory, okay? And well, that's because I'm running it at maximum, whatever you call it, ultra settings, okay? That's meant for the newer graphics cards, for Christ's sake. That it can actually still run, right, without crashing is amazing. That's why I say this is a very well optimized engine. Okay, the new preview where a bunch of us are having some issues, but you know what? I think I got a workaround for that other guy, and I was telling him how I fixed something. So it's all experiment, you know. And I suppose I should get over to Microsoft and actually sign up to their Visual Studio, whatever for whatever reason, so they get to see Microsoft. The reason that they want you to sign up is so they get your email. That's money to them, because then they can sell that list and spam your email, right? Like this. That's why it's not free. Okay, when somebody says, well, it's free, but you got to give them your email to sign up. No, that's not free. That's wasting my time when I got to look through my email for all the spam. See, I'm clever and I say it how it is. Okay, that's the truth. I was around on Visual C++ 4 when Microsoft tried to pull their BS. Okay, everything you make with Visual C++ 4, the API is ours, so therefore we have the rights to it. Oh, is that right, eh? I go and make code and you think you can have it? No, not unless I say so. Which most of the things I've ever done as far as code I've given out to people. I wrote 10,000 lines of a browser game for that would have been the equivalent of the mass combat rules for like the basic edition Dungeons and Dragons. It had a rulership in it. It had um, character progression and an experience point system for them so that they could grow. You had a hex map that used dynamic HTML from back then that moved little pieces around the browser. I was zipping through five years of code, snippets here and bringing this in there and doing that. And then I got to thinking, why don't I put that into a video game like this? And then I had ideas. You know, when you see these 4X games and they come up to the planet and then, you know, that's it? Well, why not let's have a thing where you got a real-time strategy game that happens on the planet to take it over, right? Well, you could have it if you wanted to have a multiplayer in that situation. You could potentially do it, and here's how I do it. You player A who's attacking the world. There's a big space battle in the upper thing, and that's your first real-time strategy thing. You have that, so it'd be like I don't know, Galactic Battlegrounds or something like that, where you make a ship and each side does a little bit of a turn. You might do it turn-based, you might not. It might be just totally real-time. And then once they've succeeded in taking space, they got to land on the ground. Okay, and here's the kicker, eh? If you're going to get at least even semi-realistic, once you have control of space, ground is going to fall eventually. Okay, unless you do like what they did in the Matrix and dig way under the ground, which is probably the way some of these border planets you might do them, right? In a defensive mode. But then you have a fight for that area, and you might even do it where um, you section the world into 4 parts. They invade one part, so you're fighting in one part. That's and it might go 1, 2 turns or whatever, right? And you could do that, right? Now, you could also add a section there that you have each person has their characters, right? Like a whatever. And let's say you want to progress, you could actually fight in a battle or the battle and you know win or lose. If you lose, you don't get as much and are forced to withdraw. If you win, the other guy's forced to withdraw to another territory, and so on and so forth. It makes it interactive, right? Because invading a world is think about it. People have a hard enough time on this planet invading other countries. Think about a whole planet. What's involved there? This is why it's absolutely retarded that space aliens would fly halfway across the galaxy to attack Earth when what are they doing it for? Right? The only reason I could see aliens ever attacking another alien race is just to make sure that they're the big cheese and as far as being races are so that they can have all the resources in the future. That's it. That's it. I don't see any other reason. I don't see them wanting to come here and beat us up for any other reason. And that could very well be the only reason. Survival. Which, anyway, just some ideas and thoughts late at night. It's so at 2 a.m. in the morning, and I just thought, yeah, I'll piece this together with my other video there. And now this is also run. I've got the engine running this stuff at 1280 by 720p. So it's 720p. I could run it higher resolution, right? And then it would lag a little, right? And one of the things some people like that motion blur. I kind of don't, right? It's I'm on the fence with that. But anyway, eventually I'm gonna get to the point where I'm gonna hit certain keys, and then this guy here, whoever this would be, would do that animation. That'll be the next kind of. First, I'll put people onto these animations, get good at doing that, getting used to it, and then we'll start having those animations with this guy by the keyboard, right? And then you can do I could do little skits or something like that, you know. Just ideas. I got tons of ideas. I write this stuff down, I put it down, and then I go through a book and go, well, what do I think I want to do today, you know? See, I'm not working for anybody, right? I'm not worried about money. The only money I need is a graphics card, and I'll get that myself. I say, let's see, August, September. By the time it starts cooling off around October, I should have a nice card. And I'm not going to go bottom end or mid end this time. I'll try and get something a little higher end. Hopefully, the stupid trade wars don't get too out of hand, and South Korea and Japan mend their little issue too, because all of this combined with Bitcoin idiots starting to mine. Oh, the humanity. I'll have to go back over to my disability worker and see if I can beg them for something like this. But anyway, who knows? Oh, see, collision detection works. I can't move him. Boom, bumps into him. Cool. What happens if I hit the question mark? Neat. Anyway, okay. See you guys later.